Hello, listener. Thank you for joining me on 21st Century Native Leaders. My name is Peter Desert III, and we are here with the founder of Healthy Active Natives, Waylon Pahona. Waylon is a very active in fitness and Native communities. Thanks for being on the show, Waylon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell me about yourself, your tribal affiliation, and where you come from.
Okay. So I'm Hopi, Tewa, and Maricopa Pipash. I grew up 19 years of my life on the Hopi reservation. I now reside on the Gila River reservation. So I've been there the past couple of years. And, just trying to reconnect with my Maricopa Pipash side because, all my years I've ended up in Hopi.
That's awesome. And so what made you decide to start the Han site?
So creating Healthy Active Natives, it was really just, I was working as a personal trainer, and I realized that it's so hard to get natives engaged in health and wellness. There's a stigma between healthy or if you're doing something. A lot of native people think of you as a different person. They think, oh, this person eats like a white man, or, this person thinks they're too good because of the health and wellness aspect of it. And I really wanted to bridge that, because it's really not about that once you actually get it and understand it. So not only that, but seeing people come in, we would pick people up. I was working as a personal trainer in we shared a facility with physical therapy in Gila River, and we would pick up patients, for exercise. And just seeing, not only that, the stigma, but also people were so broken mentally, and emotionally because of what they're going through in their lives, just different things. And I realized that affects our health and wellness, our pathway to wellness. And so I thought, well, maybe if I connect and try to get people to find each other and just create this huge support group for natives. And so one night in 2012, I started Googling, healthy natives, natives working out, and all of these different things to reach and connect, and I did not find one thing. I didn't find any videos. I couldn't find anything about Native Americans doing any type of health and wellness. So I thought, maybe I should just create a Facebook group so we can all connect. And, didn't even come up with any special name, just called it Healthy Active Natives there was really no thought in the name itself. And so created Healthy Active Natives, and just right then some of my friends went, wow, this is a good idea, this is a great way for us to connect. And so I used that way to start inviting different people. People started inviting their friends. So we started with a good maybe 200-300 people. And then I just would grow and grow, and then I started throwing different challenges out there, create a buddy with a group member, and so they could connect even more. And then I really wanted to add that component of sharing and expressing, I really wanted to be transparent with who I was, because I realized that there were issues in Indian country with just our mental state. And so I started to open up in the group and started to share, I was sexually abused at a young age. I've also seen my father accidentally kill a 3-year-old child, to even having to revive my mother when she tried to commit suicide. All of this was part of my pathway to wellness. And I gained over 100 pounds, so got up to 265 pounds when I'm a normal 175 pound man. So all of those things were my challenges, and I really wanted to put them out there. So I started sharing and expressing what I've been through in my life and how I overcame those obstacles and barriers. And from there, members started opening up with their alcoholism, their drug abuse, and being in recovery and in treatment. And then more and more started to talk, and then from there the numbers just grew and grew and grew. And it just became this huge network of Native people who were sharing and expressing themselves to, doing some magazine. I think our first one was Native Max magazine. We also started doing local newspapers, and then it was like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 members, and it just continued to grow and grow to where, I wanted to really have some admins help me with maintaining Healthy Active Native, because it was just becoming so much. People don't understand the work you put into it, because there's millions of people out there that you never know what emotions are being put out there with people, if they're broken or not, or just being negative. So I had to have all these different other admins help me maintain the group. And so that kind of was just the birth of it all. And where we're at now, we're at 70,000 members. I'd say 85% of these members are all Indigenous people from First Nations from our north side to our brothers and sisters down here from the States.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So that growth that you started to see, it kind of just snowballed. And I know my wife and I were runners, and I cycle, and I would go to running events. And man, you're like a celebrity. People want to take pictures with you all over. It's just like people just gather around with you. So did that happen initially, or did that just kind of grow?
It kind of grew, and it's interesting because how I was working as a personal trainer at the time in 2012, and we won an award. Healthy Active Natives won an award called the Healthy Innovation Award, and that award was through IHS. So IHS had this huge banquet, and they said, we would like you to do a keynote. And I completely freaked out, because I'm like, I've never done a keynote speech in my life. I've never to that magnitude of people, And so I did my first keynote speech. I remember I wrote out all of this stuff. I was nervous. And as I got to the podium, I couldn't even read it. And I just started talking. I just said, you know what, I'm going to just wing it and go off my emotions and how I feel about this. And it was so interesting, because people were actually crying, and after I was getting hugs and handshakes and like wow, But I didn't know that was going to be the birth of me speaking. Since 2012, 2013, I've been traveling since then, and going to communities and speaking on reservations. And the crazy thing is, I don't pitch it in Healthy Active Natives. If you look at my history, I've never told people to have me come to their communities. I really I didn't grasp the term, or I didn't grasp that was what I was going to be doing. And so I continued to travel to different places. And so that, taking pictures with people and in Canada, signing autographs, it's really uncomfortable to me to do that kind of stuff, because I really want people to understand I'm just a reservation dude, that I grew up on the res, and social media didn't make me, yes it did, but it didn't make me this person where I felt I'm better than anybody, because I want people to know that I've been through the struggles of sexual abuse. I've been through the struggles of drinking and alcoholism and suicide. How would you even say that? I'm a survivor of an attempted suicide. I've been through just everything that everybody on the reservation has, and I think that's why people gravitate towards me, because my story is not unique. I share and express exactly how people feel. I don't try to hide my emotions. I'm very transparent, because I really want people to know that I know what they're going through. I know the emotions of living on the res and just feeling hopeless. But also having them understand there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that you will make it. I love my life. I love where I'm at right now. And so lately I've been speaking to a lot of youth, a lot of high school events, a lot of different youth conferences, and it's interesting because my shift of speaking to just various groups of people has just broadened, and I enjoy it. It's not work to me. It's meeting. Just a couple of days ago, I ran with the youth of the Paiute, the Burns Paiute tribe, and just to be with them, it was very powerful. So yeah, sorry, that was a long that was a long comment to you talking about people wanting to take pictures.
No, it's perfect. It's actually it shows the growth of Hans and the whole community and how it's a part of your life. So my next question is, how did you get into personal training? There's the ACSM, the American College of Sports Medicine, and certification. Interesting thing was, at the time I was working as a youth coordinator for the Gila River community, and I gained over 100 pounds in that time frame while I was working there. I was just this out-of-shape guy. I was really helping the students there. I was creating jobs for youth. It's the WIA program, Workforce Investment Act. It's not WIOA, but I did that for 5 years. And growing up, I was always very active. I was always very active with my health and wellness. Playing sports, football, baseball, and wrestling. I started getting back to my old habits of feeling like I was an athlete, because I was so broken with everything that was going on in my life. Long story short, within that 5 years of working with the WIA youth program, I gained 100 pounds. I was hiding my emotions. I wasn't sharing and expressing what I'd been through in my life, and that was my downfall. In 2007, I tried to take my own life, and ended up in the hospital, got referred to behavioral health, and took the referral and went to behavioral health. It was the hardest thing that I could ever do in my whole entire life, especially as a Native, we have this stigma of going to behavioral health because we're afraid to be exposed, we're afraid to share and express ourselves. We don't want people to see us at those places, and so that's how I felt. And so I finally made my way through behavioral health doors, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened in my life. I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and so that post-traumatic stress kind of really changed because I was like, wow, how can just a reservation kid be diagnosed with that when, I just assumed that, people in the military, people who go to war, people who, I didn't think that reservation people like myself could be diagnosed with post-traumatic stress. From there, it was just an eye-opener. I started going to physical therapy because at the time I threw my back out. And going to physical therapy, I seen this flyer, and it was the P.F. Chang's half marathon. And I told the physical therapist, I said, I want to do the P.F. Chang's. And the physical therapist at the time said, he said, you can't do that. That's too much stress on your joints, on your knees, your back, all the issues that you're going through. He said, that's not a good idea. And for him to doubt me like that, me being an athlete, that really made me mad. And I was like, no, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. And so with sports, football, baseball, wrestling, those sports, you don't run a lot. Coach isn't going to tell you, oh, go run 5 miles or go run 10 miles. You just do a warm-up and then it's practice, And so I started running, and running completely changed my whole outlook on life. I started doing these little 1 mile, 2 miles, and with that, it was so hard. I mean, it was one of the hardest journeys that I've ever took to run. And within that journey with running, it really opened up my mind and it made me express myself even more to where, sometimes I would cry when I was sad, when I was just thinking of what has been through my life and all the trauma. And then other times it was just like this overwhelming feeling of joy because I ran, and then I would cry because I was happy. And fast forward to maybe over a year later, I lost all the weight. And I said, you know what? I want to become a personal trainer. So I went straight over to Gila River Healthcare. And me being still a coordinator for the youth, I said, I remember them asking them, do you have a job opening in this? And they're like, well, why would you want to work here? Because, and I hate to say this, but I mean this in the most respectful way, on a lot of reservations, that personal trainer job is just basically to clean machines, and it's just like, you graduate high school, and, that's what it was at the time for Gila River.
And I didn't want to think that. I thought, I found the secret to fitness, but it's not working out. For me, it was really changing your mind frame and how you think, And so I really wanted to become a personal trainer, so I went to them and I told them, and they just said, well, we love your enthusiasm, but, are you certified as a trainer? I said, no. I said, no, I'm not. And they said, well, we can't just hire you at the hospital, And I just thought, well, maybe that's kind of not the brightest idea for me just to go and ask them for a job when I had a really good job. Mm-hmm. And they ended up contacting me and said, we have an opening and we would like you to apply. And they said, but, they gave me a certain deadline to reach to get certifications and they would hire me. And so I did that, I trained even harder. I wanted to look the part. I wanted to be in shape. But in my mind, I knew that I wasn't going to be that crazy trainer of, okay, push-ups here, sit-ups. I really knew that it was a mental state of mind, that's basically the secret was having people believe in themselves and having them, understand that, you have to want to do it. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to lose weight today or, I'm going to start tomorrow and start working out. You have to really manifest and get your mind in tune with what you really want to do in order for these things to happen. So I started pitching that philosophy, and I became a personal trainer, got my certifications, and it was all downhill from there. I was helping create and helped a lot of women. Run half marathons, even to bringing women to do an ultra out in Hopi. I trained these ladies to do their first ultra marathon, to where we had this little group where we were starting to travel, and these ladies were actually running marathons and ultras. It was very amazing. And so that was kind of that step before I created Healthy Active Native.
Well, that's amazing. So at what point did you realize that mental aspect of being healthy?
I think when I started my own journey of running, because I really thought about it, because I blocked my emotions for what I was going through high school. How I blocked my emotions was physical activity, and man, I was practicing. I was always active. I was doing things because I was trying to block those emotions of being sexually abused, of seeing my father, that child. It helped me to a point, but mentally, I was still. Eventually, it was boiling. I was a boiling pot, Mm-hmm. After I graduated, I then carried those emotions by helping others. I made myself do good for other people to mask everything that I've been through in my life. So as my older adult years, I blocked my emotions in that way, and here it is, still boiling. So eventually, I could not function anymore, and I was just this spiral of emotions because of what I was going through. And then that made me realize, well, regardless of how healthy you were when you were in high school and how you were trying to block those emotions, you could only do so much. And so that's when I realized how powerful the mind is, And you hear this all the time. You hear this, but I really try to express and show people that the mind is very powerful, and you can also even self-destruct because of it. But it's the most powerful thing that drives your body. And so that's how I speak and I express to the youth, how I speak and express to people who have been in recovery, how I speak to people, just people from the reservation, on how to look at it, the trauma, the resilience and resistance that we have as indigenous people, and how we can filter that to make us even more powerful than feeling sorry for ourselves.
That's absolutely amazing. I like those steps you've taken. So then, I know you talked about the mental, the physical. How important is diet in this whole process?
Diet is very important. I mean, that's 85%, and I'm a good example of that right now. Me traveling, I manage to get in a workout wherever I go, but I'm eating out of restaurants. I'm eating what I can sometimes because of time zones. And so regardless of if I work out every day, I mean, I could do a 10-mile run. It doesn't matter. What you're putting into your body is what makes the biggest impact, you know? So it's a huge key factor. It's the largest key factor to your being healthy, you know, what you put in your body.
That's awesome. So I just got done listening to this podcast on one of the sites, and they were talking about some foods that we're not supposed to eat. And I was thinking, it made me think a lot, you know. And I was telling them, why is this? Like one of the big ones was saying, they were saying beans. Mm-hmm. You know, there's apparently, I think it's called racin or something like that, or some chemical that, you know, you think about that and you look at diet and what you put in your body and how important it is. You know, I've heard other athletes on the podcast say, what you put in is what you're going to get out. It's fuel. And that's why I usually ask that question, is because, you know, it's very important. You know, if you put crap in your body, that's the output you're going to get. So I'm glad that you said that. Another question.
Yeah, definitely. And leading, and also adding to that question, there's no such thing as a cheat meal. There's no such thing as a cheat meal. Because let's say, let me give you this example. Let's say you're just your average person, you work out 3 days out of the week. Within that 3 days you work out, you know, let's say you work out a good hour and a half and you burn about 1,000 calories, 8 to 1,000 calories. Well, that's just one workout. And so imagine 3 of those. But in the process of those 3 workouts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have those 3 workouts. But think about those other days. Tuesday, when you're having breakfast, lunch, dinner, all of that calories and all of those things you're putting into your body. And then Thursday again, you're probably putting in way over more than 1,000 calories in one day. Mm-hmm. That's not including the day you worked out where you actually did put in those calories. So there's never a balance. And then you say on Friday, let's say you get a good paycheck or you want to take your family out and say, man, I had 3 really good workouts this week. Tonight is my cheat meal. Well, no, you completely it never balanced out. Mm-hmm. And so that's what a lot of people forget, and they think they reward themselves, but never understand the work never came close to what they were putting inside their body.
Right, and I like what you said about how you're on travel. I know when my wife and I eat out, you know, the portion sizes are humongous. Like, it's like 2 or 3 people could eat one meal. How important is portion control?
It's definitely important, you know, and I think this is what it also comes to. You know, I'm not a dietitian, or I'm not number one rule as a personal trainer, and I try to stress this to people who meet with personal trainers: don't ever take advice from a personal trainer that tells you what to eat. It's out of our scope of practice. We could lose our certification. You actually have to have a doctorate, you know, in order to, because you're just like a doctor. You're prescribing food, you know. And so that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand, that what personal trainers can and cannot do. We can talk about calorie expenditure and calorie intake, but that's about it. Unless you have a degree and you have those certifications to back, a personal trainer cannot give that much information.
Wow, that's amazing. This health issue facing Native people.
Yeah, and I really try to be that person that, you know, I really try to look at people and try to help them out in a way that, you know, it's not just because I feel or I think. It's like you have to know the person's body, you know. I don't do any personal training, or I don't do anything no more. It's more just talking and motivational stuff and some workshops, but other than that, yeah, I don't do as much as I used to.
How do you keep people engaged on the Healthy Active Native site?
Well, now it's so. I think, like I told you before, I really don't want to. I try not to put myself out there too much. Like, hey, this is me, you know, this, that. I very rarely post. Every now and then, I probably do 1 to 2 posts a month, just encouraging people. It's become sustainable on its own, and I like that. I like that our own people are running the site. They're kind of pretty much helping one another out. And so they're actually engaging themselves. You know, I don't ever want to go in there and post pictures and just say, oh, me, and just constantly always in the group. And I think that's what's really amazing too, as well, is a lot of people don't even know that I created the group. I don't put it out there like that. And so, to answer your question, I really don't too much, engage. I just pretty much encourage when I feel there's a need to encourage the people to be part of the group.
That's awesome. Are there any current projects you're working on?
Not necessarily. I mean, just basically traveling, speaking engagements, and I just created a Facebook page for myself because somebody shot me an email and it really hit me pretty hard with because for me, I'm like, well, I don't want to put myself out there like that. I want to let the journey take its toll on its own. And this lady just shot me this huge long email and saying, why don't you have a page? You go to all of these places, and then after the fact, people are saying, well, I never knew you were here. And she said, people really want to hear what you have to say. And you're kind of not helping by having these people have you come out and you don't let people know. And it really kind of, put some thought, and like, well, maybe I do need to share and express when I'm going to be speaking. And so I created my first page for myself, and now I'm trying to let people know, hey, this is where I'll be. It's still hard for me to do because it's so crazy. They post, they actually make flyers of events that I'm going to be part of, and I very rarely do I post them. But now I'm trying to be better about that. I'm kind of not really in that comfortable state yet to just see myself as that person,
Yeah, you're definitely a leader in the community, and I think that people feel like that, and they want to connect with you.
Well, thank you very much.
Where do you want to take Healthy Active Natives?
That's interesting. I never really put any thought into it. I know I would really like to. I would still love to bridge that gap of people who have the same passion as I do. To have all of these native, indigenous personal trainers, motivators, lifestyle coaches, all of these people that are so passionate about keeping their people alive, have them connect, and then we have this connection to where, we can work with numerous tribes. We can do this together. I'm only one person. It would be awesome to have us all work together and even almost have like this council of people, or these native mentors / lifestyle coaches who travel and are willing to do the work, not just come in, get paid and leave, people that just really, really feel like they want to help and support people. That's an ultimate goal for myself. And there's so many right now. I have people that we are connected, I feel that we share the same passion, and we all talk about it all the time, but it's a lack of funding or a lack of, it would be awesome to have that funding to get this all going,
That's awesome. So whenever you break everything down, the personal training, being the founder of Hans, what's the essence of Waylon Pahona? How do you want to be remembered?
I really want to be remembered for just letting people know that, the legacy that I have is creating people to be sustainable on their own, to not rely on the government or the tribes, giving us free things. We can do it on our own. I really want them to know that I've been doing this for 4 years, traveling, helping people, raise money, raise donations for water, helping people get wheelchairs. All of these things have been because I've been passionate. And what I want people to understand, that anybody can do it. You have to get yourself out of that comfort zone, and you have to, in order for you to be successful, you have to be uncomfortable. And I'm put in so many uncomfortable positions, but I know that it's going to work. And so I want to be remembered as that person who just had a good heart and would help anyone. Wherever, if you had to travel somewhere, he would stop and he would help you. And that's how I want to be remembered.
That's great. You can definitely tell you're passionate about fitness and promoting healthy communities, healthy living, sustainable living. I mean, it's amazing. Is there anything else you would like to share?
I think one thing that I think what makes me unique about when I travel is, and this is no disrespect to other speakers who I come across, when I go to their places, and they'll tell you, I ask them if you can have me come at least a day or two in advance. So I come to the communities, I stay with them, I learn, I'll go to their wellness centers, I eat with them, I ask questions, I sit with elders, and that basically collects my thoughts for what I need to do. You know, it's me really learning about your community. It's me learning about the issues and everything that you're going through, you know, because you can't just come in and do your thing and then just leave, you know. And so I think that really, really makes me unique in how I travel, even to conferences. People think, oh, okay, well, do you want to go to your hotel now? And I'm like, no, I'm here for the conference. You know, I'm done, but I'm going to sit in the workshops. I'm going to do everything just like everybody else, and I do that because it's growth for me. It's me learning about what you're trying to teach your community to do and how to be sustainable and how to be more powerful. So it's always a learning experience, and I have hundreds and hundreds of stories. And one thing that I also want to do is possibly write a book of all the adventures and places that I've been to.
Oh, that would be awesome. I mean, there's definitely have a following. You have people that need there to document your journey. How can people contact you?
They can either follow me on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Waylon Pahona. I also have a fan page called Motivator of Life, and that just basically started. The Motivator of Life page has so many videos that I put on there of just my experiences and places that I've been. So it's barely just coming up. So I'm looking to have people follow my journey and really want to be transparent and share and express who I am and why I do what I do. And so when you see this page, you know, it's my true emotions. It's my raw emotions. Sometimes I'm crying in some of the videos and just expressing what I feel and what I see on the reservation. So, my page, Motivator of Life, is one place they can connect with me.
That's awesome. Well, Waylon, I really appreciate you being on the show. I know we need a lot of people like you out there, you know, living life and enjoying it and traveling and, you know, demonstrating that you are successful. And I really appreciate the work you're doing for our communities.
Thank you. And just to add to that, I really wanted to thank you for the work you're doing. It's amazing that, you know, being a principal and that you're trying to put the word out there for health and wellness to all of our indigenous people who are motivators, who are people who try to help in different communities. Thank you for the podcast and what you're trying to do to help our Native communities. I'm grateful and thankful to connect with people like yourself. So thank you.
Absolutely. You know, hopefully we get to meet up. Next time I see you at an event, I'll definitely come and introduce myself, and we can chit-chat a bit or get a coffee or something, okay?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, Waylon. Hey, thanks a lot. I appreciate you being on the show. I know you're busy, and I'm glad we're able to connect. So safe travels on the rest of your journey, brother.
All right. Take care, man. Take care.